back in the 80s, I rode bulls and bareback horses in the Professional Women's Rodeo Association. But before that, I goat tied a little amateur association, and I just loved it. I mean, I wanted rodeo so bad that was what I could do to be able to be involved in rodeo, so I did it. And well, God got to dealing with me after I'd been doing that for a few years, that he wanted me to lay it down because it had grown to be an idol in my heart. Well, I bowed up big time over that. I mean, I didn't want to hear that, because to me it sounded like God was just wanting to take away from me all the things that were fun in my life and give me a boring life and all. And I really bowed. I see, the thing that God does is he'll ask you for something, and if you take it, we often take it like God is wanting to take this away from me, and we justify ourselves to disobey it. But thank God I didn't, and I gave it up to him, because see what it is, it was a thing to let me know him better, and it was more than that. Let me go on with the story. A couple years later, I was watching the NFR on the Heston round. Used to call it the Heston round, the 10th round, and when the NFR was in Oklahoma City, the National Finals Rodeo, the big finals. And it had always been in Oklahoma City, and I was sitting on the floor at somebody's house, a room full of people, watching the NFR, minding my own business, and all of a sudden, God, I felt his presence drop on me. Nobody else in the room knew what was going on, but God dropped on me and was talking to me, and he said this. He said, I'm going to take you to the NFR, and you are not going to be a ticket-paying spectator. And I heard the word Las Vegas. Well, I thought, either God doesn't know much about rodeo, or he's geographically challenged or something, because the NFR was in Oklahoma City, not Las Vegas. Well, a year or two after that, it moved to Las Vegas, and I was like, oh my gosh. Well, during that time, I started riding bulls, and I was winning Rookie of the Year and all of a sudden, the phone rang one day, and it was Betty Gail Cooper, for those of you who remember her. And she called me up, and she told me who she was, and she said, Jim Sutton has an idea to bring more people in to see the crowning of Miss Rodeo America. They want to call it Beauty and the Beast. They want 6 past world champion cowgirls, 3 to ride bulls and 3 to ride barebacks, to come. Will pay you to come to the NFR and ride. Well, I was world champion diddly squat. I wasn't world champion anything. I was just winning Rookie. And she said, we know we're going to catch over this deal, because there's other girls still out there, but we know you're supposed to be one of the ones that come. Well, I knew it too. I had the phone up to my ear, and tears were running down my face, because I remembered about 3 or 4 years prior to this, the Lord telling me he was going to take me to the NFR, and I would not be a ticket-paying spectator. Well, if you can see this is the picture of the bull I drew at the NFR, and I rode him. I slapped him at the whistle, but bless God, I didn't roll off of him like a watermelon off of a rail. I'd only been on about 12, 14 bulls when I went there. And if you'll notice, if you ever look at it on the back side of that, it's a who's who. Ted Noose is back there. Pam Minnick is back there. It water damaged on this picture, but that picture means so much to me, not just because of the picture, but because of the story I'm telling you behind it. This is what I want you to hear out of this. God never asked for something to empty you out, just to take away from you. He only does it so that he can make room in you to give you something that you're wanting more. I could not imagine going to the NFR. The biggest thing I could ever imagine in rodeoing was just winning a year-end deal and goat tying and all. I couldn't even think that far. But see, God had that plan for me. But the test to get what God wanted to give me was for me to lay down the best thing that I thought I would ever have. If I would have never laid down rodeoing and the goat tying aspect and walked away from it for a time like I did, I know for a fact that I would not have ever experienced going to the NFR. 2 years, they only did it 2 years, and I got to go both years, a bull 1 year, a bareback the next. I'm telling you, God not only makes dreams come true, he puts the dream in you and then causes it to come to pass as you obey him. This is Crystal Lyons, another Cowgirl Logic.